Say the King of New York is back. Tomorrow, April 15th.
6ix9ine has been gone for almost 2 years, only to be seen in a handful of YouTube videos and NFT scams. It's a drastic difference from 2018 where he dominated the music scene for a short period of time. This Google Trends graph shows a similar story. People are without a doubt losing interest. Following controversies and arrests, he stepped away from making music. Instead, he was seen spending time with YouTubers like Steve Will Do It, all while losing the momentum he once had. But that wouldn't be the last we heard from him. On April 8, 2022, Tekashi posted the following message to his Instagram account. "When I left and took a break, I didn't say a word to no one. I didn't need to explain nothing, I just did it. I woke up and now I want to take over again. Get out of my way, the King of New York is back." In order to promote his return, he promised on April 15th to release a song, and as promised, a week later, Tekashi would drop Genie. It's currently trending #1 on YouTube with over 10 million views in under a week. But these numbers don't tell the true story of what's really happening to his career behind the scenes. After blowing up in 2018, 6ix9ine's rise to fame was pretty much immediate. He undoubtedly had hip-hop in a chokehold as almost every song he released reached Billboard charting stats.
We 10 for 10 on the Billboard. All that, this ain't it, chief. Knock it off.
Although he was in the middle of becoming one of hip-hop's biggest artists, he was also making enemies just as fast as he was making fans. Since the beginning, his marketing has been a simple concept. Get any kind of attention I can, good or bad, and in turn people will be curious enough to check me out. And this worked. Even if you didn't like him as a person, his music to say the least was catchy and overall pretty good. This Reddit user summarized how I think a lot of people felt very well. 6ix9ine's music generally has fun, upbeat instrumentals that are more engaging and hyped than most hip-hop on the radio. His voice and lyrical style, while simple, is easy to quote, remember, and sing along to. It's also very unique. Not many artists have the same style of over-aggressive vocal tones. But for him as a person, he's basically an example of living shock value. He's a huge industry troll with rainbow hair who disses anybody and everybody. He looks bizarre. These traits are very attractive to some people. Another user drove the point home by adding, "This guy is the master of doing stuff that gets people's attention. From the disses to the bizarre Instagram videos, the guy knows how to make people talk about him. I love rap and despise this guy's music, but guess what? I've heard it." It was obvious 6ix9ine knew exactly what he was doing every time he started drama with another rapper or said something outlandish on the internet.
I'm gonna make you swear on your mother.
What's poppin', Cloud Demon? What's poppin'?
Let's not talk over each other. Let's go, let each other.
What you stuttering? What you say?
It was all part of his plan. Taking it a step further, he associated himself with the 9 Trey Blood Gang to give the appearance that he really lived the things he rapped about.
How many people I beefed with in 2018? I beefed with the whole West Coast, I beefed with the Houston, I beefed with Chicago,
This gave the impression to his fans that not only did his music bump, but he was also valid in that lifestyle, not knowing at the time that this would be the very reason many decided to turn their back on his music. In November of 2018, 6ix9ine and other members of 9 Trey were arrested on racketeering charges, something that if convicted would have landed him more than 30 years behind bars. But instead, the very next day after his arrest, he had already begun working with authorities to get out of his situation, turning his back on his alleged gang while they all received sentences and he walked away a free man. This of course would destroy any street credibility that he claimed to have, and resulted in him being labeled as a snitch for the rest of his career, something that is extremely hard to come back from, especially in hip-hop. But instead of denying or trying to run from this, 6ix9ine did the best thing he could have done, and that's embrace it.
I hope I don't upset you, Tekashi, but what does it feel to be the richest rat in the world?
I mean, it feels pretty good. I mean, I put a lot of bad people away. I saved the world. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Batman at this point.
Followed by multiple interviews where he gave his justification for snitching.
If there is a street code, right? If there is a street code and there's something so-called as loyalty and everything and no snitching and all of that, I get it, right? But where was the loyalty when you was sleeping with my baby mother? Where was the loyalty when you was caught on the wiretap trying to kill me? Where was the loyalty when you tried to kidnap my mother? Where was the loyalty when you was stealing millions of dollars from me? Where was that? So who broke it first?
By doing this, he actually appeared to win back a lot of that audience he had lost. They either felt his actions were justified, or were simply happy to have him back and trolling the industry again. Most listeners don't come from an environment that would ever put them in this situation, so it's easy for them to look past his snitching, as any kind of street code is not relatable to them. For a moment, it almost seemed like he was going to pull off the greatest comeback in hip-hop history.
Didn't I tell you? Can't be stopped. Didn't I tell you? Stop playing with me. Every got blackball. You can't blackball me.
Even when looking at Social Blade, you can see the increase in engagement on his return around April of 2020, going from 30 million views a month to over 300 million views on his return, even breaking an Instagram live record with 2 million people tuning in.
Now y'all got a reason, so of course the go-to is, oh, he snitched. He's a rat, so that's y'all go-to, which I understand and I don't blame y'all. I can't blame y'all. Listen, I'm sorry to my fans.
But some people were also expecting that he would change the substance of his music, but that didn't happen. Despite being known as a snitch, he continued to use lyrics that insinuated he was still about that life. In his first song after being released from prison, he dropped the lines, "Catch him at the chicken spot and popped him with 100 shots." Instead of remarketing himself on just making hype music that people bop their head to, he chose to go all in making the same kind of music as before, this time with no kind of credibility. Although it's nice to listen to, it gets old quick, especially coming from someone who already showed the world he's not really like that. That decision may have cost him his entire career. Had he chose to rebrand himself, it was possible he could have taken his career down a different path and saw new success. More people than you would expect actually took Tekashi 6ix9ine's side, stating that they would have snitched too if they were in that situation. It was the perfect opportunity to win back his audience, but he fumbled it by recycling generic trap lyrics. Throughout the next year, his popularity would continue to trend downward, back to levels it was at prior to his return. And for 6ix9ine himself, he kind of just disappeared into the shadows, maybe even questioning the direction he was headed himself. During this time, the only place you saw him was on a few DJ Academics interviews and Steve Will Do It vlogs, even giving off the impression that he may have been spending more money than he was making after promoting NFT scams and other cash grabs.
I want everybody to follow the new Gene NFT collection Instagram. It's right here. It's right here.
This is until this month when he announced he was coming back again. This was followed by an immediate shot toward another New York artist, repeating his never-ending marketing tactic of stirring things up on the internet, then dropping music immediately after.
I'm the king of New York. I could really take 2 years off a rap. You know what I mean? I could do that. Y'all can't. It's really my lifestyle. That's what I'm saying, bro.
This cycle is all he appears to know, and rightfully so, as it's been effective his entire career. It's the same reason his song is trending right now at this very moment, and to him that means his plan is working. But at some point it becomes boring and almost expected, and every time the process repeats, less and less people who are truly fans stay interested and willing to defend him. Yes, people are going to continue to tune in, but unless he's able to come up with a genuinely good and non-biased hit song, it's unlikely he will grow as an artist, and eventually he will be forgotten about altogether.
I ain't even call her back, that bitch be doing the most. I ain't even fuck that bitch, she put